welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. The Commission on Assisted Dying report released last week, which suggested that adults thought to have less than a year to live should be able to ask doctors for drugs to end their life, is not without risk, according to the Commission's own chairman. The report faced widespread criticism from opponents, casting doubt on its impartiality. Even Lord Falconer, who fronted the report, has now admitted the plan is not perfect, saying, "I don't think you can ever have a system that is completely watertight." Dominic Lawson, writing in the Sunday Times, has drawn a link between the unprecedented vigour of the voluntary euthanasia movement and the growing panic over the state's ability to fund the care bill for the nation's geriatrics. Mr Lawson warned of a system along the lines of that pioneered in the US state of Oregon, where 2 cancer sufferers were told that the state would not fund any more treatment, but would pay for their assisted suicide, cautioning, "Don't think that couldn't happen here." An increasing number of women who are expecting multiple births are aborting one or more of their unborn babies, according to government figures. In 2010, over 100 babies were aborted as a result of selective reduction, often simply to satisfy parental preference. Dr. Peter Saunders of the Christian Medical Fellowship said, "There is no doubt that the rising use of IVF has contributed to a rise in multiple pregnancies. If prospective parents are not willing to have twins, then they should not be implanting more than one embryo at a time." A spokesman for the Department of Health commented that more than 75% of the selective terminations were performed under Ground E, which means that there is substantial risk that if the child were born, it would suffer from such physical or mental abnormalities as to be seriously handicapped. Government Minister Sarah Teather has written to business leaders inviting them to meet with the Prime Minister in a bid to tackle child sexualisation. The Children and Families Minister says that companies must demonstrate the real difference they are making for families. The calls come as Boots the Chemist have caused outrage over a range of sex toys they are selling at many of their stores. On some displays, which can be seen by children, the sex aids have been removed from their packaging and displayed with a card detailing their features. The letter from Ms Teather also sets out a list of reforms being considered, including a full ban on sexualised images appearing in outdoor advertising, and lads' mags also being barred from going on display in easy view of children. Premier Christian Radio, which was banned from airing an advert on Christian marginalisation, has been given permission to go to court and challenge the decision. The ad was due to air during May 2010 in order to inform debate during the general election campaign. It said, "Surveys have shown that 60% of active Christians are being increasingly marginalised in the workplace." But the ad was banned by the Radio Advertising Clearance Centre for being politically motivated. Premier's Chief Executive Peter Kerridge said, "This has been a long, hard fight, but at last we have the right for a judicial review to clarify the law in matters of religious expression." The proportion of children in Britain being brought up in single-parent families is higher than any other major European country, according to figures from the EU. More than 20% live with a single mother or father, a far higher ratio than in France, Germany or Scandinavian countries. Many believe that the reason the figures are so high in Britain is because our tax and benefit system encourages transient relationships, whereas other European systems reward parents who stay together. Jill Kirby, an author on family development, warned that unless our government acts to implement pro-marriage policies, the gap with the rest of Europe will continue to widen. Before the 2010 election, the Conservative Party pledged to introduce tax breaks for married couples, but Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg has said it would be wrong to use the tax system to encourage a particular family setup. Finally, Scottish couple Robert and Susan Erskine became Britain's oldest married couple on New Year's Day, when they celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary. Robert, who is 100, and his wife Susan, who's 99, celebrated their anniversary with all 3 generations of their family. The couple are still active, and until recently Susan was still singing in the church choir. The only time the couple have been separated was during the Second World War, when Robert was called into the army as a dispatch rider in Baghdad and Cairo. Mrs Erskine said, "I love Robert as much now as I did then, and we still kiss and hold hands, despite being married for so long. Robert has always been by my side." Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.